Hey, not Epstein here. Just wanted to say hello. You know, not Epstein.
You look like a wash.
Denver International Airport.
Don't get me started on that one.
Is the headquarters of the Illuminati. People would slap him on the back. Oh!
That 100% happened. Now the Erika, I'm not sure. That one has to be true.
Oh, that's like so spooky. I don't know why that's so creepy. Anyway.
Yeah, they like to just end it. Like, bring it down. Bring it down. And some of it, like,
yeah. Isn't it the headquarters of the Illuminati?
Right.
My guess is Epstein's Island was. They'd make it more secluded than just someplace underneath an airport.
You made that shit up.
Listen to this.
They're not going to put that on there.
We're live.
Live and rolling.
Yes, this is actually episode 5, not 4. Like I said the last. I was like 4 or 5, 4 or 5. This is episode 5 of the Red Monday podcast, and we're starting today with some notes. I got some notes today. Well, how have you been first? Let me talk about
I've been fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. How you been?
I've been all right. Just I'm trying to I'm trying to get into the headspace of getting back into writing, and I'm taking the last kind of few days off. I need to get back into it, because I'm trying to finish a book right now and put it out here soon. But it's just like, oh man, I'm such a procrastinator. I really need to finish it though. We've been doing a lot of research on different stuff.
Yeah.
I watched a podcast about those scientists again.
Do you know it's up to 15 now?
Is it really?
2 more passed away in a plane crash.
That's wild. No, I hadn't heard that. I mean, well, I saw a podcast. It was probably from like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. So I mean, it wasn't like up to date. But I remember I think we talked about it on the last podcast. I'm pretty sure we brought it up that there was like a general that was missing. And stuff.
Yes.
General McCaskill is his name. Yes. And that there's a connection with another one of the scientists that's missing or something. The name Monica Raza, and she used to work for Pratt Whitney in rocket science and some other company called JPL or something. It was connected to the government. She worked through like government contracts at one point, and no shit, fuck. And they both kind of disappeared in the same way, which was kind of weird. Like it, just walked off, just disappeared. And the general was the one that always wore his Apple Watch all the time. But when he went on the hike, he left his Apple Watch there. Yeah. Which is like weird.
Wait, was the general the one that put his watch in the mailbox?
He might have. That might have been the one. Because there was another guy, too, and I think that might have been a suicide. I'm not entirely sure. There's one of them that's, there's a couple of them that may be just suicide.
They've got to be finding secrets, though. Because how are you?
But even so, yeah, it's just like, what are you finding?
These people are making 6 figures a year. I don't care what state you live in. 6 figures a year is decent money, at least decent. You ain't got nothing to kill yourself over. Unless you did something.
One of them was pictured with a gun, but the general, his wife said that his gun, his .38, was missing. So we don't know if he took it, but it's assumed he might.
Well, he'll probably show up half a state away with it.
Right. And then the other thing with her, with the Monica girl, that was weird is she was a part of this she was into some kind of astrophysics or something. Don't quote me totally on that. I don't know exactly what she was into. It's a little bit above my head, but
is this the one that was trying to get the word out?
No, that's that other one that I don't know exactly.
Okay, Reza, I don't know. That's who I thought you was talking about. Was I thought Reza was the one that. I was about to say that girl's into anti-gravity, but that was
no. It's not the anti-gravity girl. Yeah, okay. that was some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
But no, this one. Yeah, I did see that other girl though, and some people are saying that that could also be a suicide, but it's still weird. There's still a lot of weird stuff around that one.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, this Monica girl, she was hiking in the woods with her friends, and her friends.
Oh yeah, I read up on
this
it.
like guru or like kind of like some kind of like yoga type group, right? And she was hiking. And they were in an area where that's kind of dangerous to run. And one of the other guys was like, no, we should run. And one of the other girls says that all of a sudden she looks back and Monica was running. And she's like, oh, hey. And then she looks, she was looking for her and she looks back again and she's gone. And this, like, they know exactly, like, they found her hat. And they even had, like, the scent trail, like, and it stopped right there at the hat. And a lot of things, it was weird because... like her friends were saying, like, this isn't a huge area. Like, we should have found her. This was months. They've been searching for months.
Mm-hmm.
They still haven't found anything but a hat.
Yeah,
that's odd. You know what I mean?
There was a story though. Like, now this is something separate. This dude wasn't at NASA. He was a little boy, but this blew my mind. There was a story of a little boy, and he got lost in the woods.
Yeah.
Okay, he walked away from a campsite or something like that, and trekked into the woods or whatever. He was found, I think it was 10 days later.
Yeah.
Okay? And 7 miles away from where he went in. And for a little boy to get that far.
That's odd.
And, like, even in 10 days. Like, it would be hard for, like... when you're walking through the woods, up and down hills and all this stuff, it's not like walking around a track.
Yeah, it's a difficult terrain.
Yeah, and that's something that really, like, to get that far for a kid.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I say kid, I'm talking about like an 8-year-old, 7-year-old, maybe even 6-year-old.
Yeah, that's a bit far.
Like,
something else I remember, that general, his wife, said something odd too. She was like... she made a comment where she was like, well, yeah, I hope he, he did work for the government on some top secret stuff, but, I hope he didn't get abducted by aliens or anything. It's just like a weird, like, it's just odd. Like, why would you say that about your husband?
Why would you say that? Not only that, but, like, I'll tell you something else that's odd about what she said. She said that, my husband worked on some top secret stuff with some people or whatever. Everybody that's passed has some link to him,
right? And it's like, and it's also, she was like, she even made the comment, yeah, but I don't think it's anything that somebody would like kidnap him and like want to like extract information from what?
Yeah.
That's an odd thing to say. And it's like, how do you know that? If he's working with top secret information, he might have known some shit he didn't tell you. Like, I mean, you're his wife, but. Like, if it's top secret shit, he could have gotten in trouble for shit.
Everybody in the military keeps secrets.
Like, dude, yeah, that's just a weird thing to say. It's a very weird thing to say. Kind of like telling on yourself.
Yeah. After the whole crap with Charlie Kirk's wife and what all she's done since he's passed, like, I don't know how long they were supposedly married.
It is odd, kind of like her behavior after the whole thing. Like, it doesn't seem like a grieving widow.
But see, this is the reason why it doesn't. Because the rule of thumb is you get 1 week of mourning for every year you were together.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, my grandmother, for instance, whenever she lost my grandfather, they had been married since they were young.
Yeah.
He had just came back from World War II.
Well, I've heard a lot of people say that it might have been like a political arranged marriage.
It has to be, especially if she could talk about his death that quick.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know how long they were married, but from what I saw from the pictures, he was kind of up there. I'm going to say he was in his late 50s.
No, I think Charlie Kirk was actually pretty young.
No, Caslin. McCaslin.
McCaslin. Oh, okay. I thought we were back on.
No. I was talking about, like, Charlie Kirk was younger or whatever, and, like, they might have only been together. I don't know if he had children. I think he did.
He did have a couple children.
So, I mean, my guess is they didn't just get together. Like...
No, I think he, I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories that she's, a plant for Israel intelligence, that she has some connection to that, all that shit. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is weird how she consolidated power of Turning Point like right after, and then it was during a time where Charlie was kind of like on the fence about the whole Israel thing, and then everything that was going on with Gaza and everything. It was kind of like privately he was kind of saying some things like, I'm kind of done with this shit, and then all of a sudden he dies, and then his wife moves it in that direction of the pro-Israel side more so, like 110% more so,
Yeah.
So it is odd.
Well,
what does that mean for the whole thing, like the assassination and everything? And we're seeing the trial a little bit now, like what's coming out about that. That whole trial was weird too. It's just like,
dude, me honestly, I don't like. I haven't really tried to look it up, but the rule of thumb is if you don't,
he did it for his furry trans boyfriend or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you don't see a body, when it comes to a death, then there's no body.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't, and that's the best.
Well, don't even get me started on the first assassin that tried to kill Trump, Thomas Crooks. Like, what do we know about him? What do we know about Thomas Crooks? We don't know anything.
Wait, is that the dude? Was that the dude at the golf course, or was that the dude at
the dude at the golf course? Was a guy that was he had volunteered and went to fight for Ukraine over there, and he was crazy and just off his rocker. It wasn't that guy. Thomas Crooks was the one that shot the ear, the big one. More memorable one.
Okay.
And that was shot dead right then. But his entire internet presence was scrubbed. Now they'll say, well, he didn't have an internet presence. Okay, he's a 20-something kid.
No, he had an internet presence.
He had something. He had a gamer profile. He had something.
Unless he's living in, what's that dude's name? Ted Kaczynski or whatever. His little hut he lived in. Unless he's living in that, he's got an online presence.
Yeah, he had something. It was just,
even a DoorDash account. He's got to have.
We don't know anything about it. And it's even weird how Trump deals with that. Like, he doesn't even talk about that. He's not even
because when you talk
he's like, no, got the message.
Like, when you talk about something, that's whenever, you're giving it virility. You're giving it life.
Yeah.
If you don't talk about something, it dies. And,
but what do you think?
The whole thing that, back whenever they did the riots. They did the riots back in 2020. Yeah. It's because, it wasn't just because it ticked people off, okay? It's because, what was the dude's name?
George Floyd.
George Floyd. George Floyd wasn't the first victim of that year.
Right, no, there was others. There was other people.
I think his name was Malcolm Brown. It was something Brown. But that was the kid that had the toy pistol, okay? And he had the cap off of it, all right? Like the end, they always put a really fluorescent end on them or whatever, and he had taken the end off. But for the cops to a kid, that's crazy. That's absolutely ballistic.
I was trying to see the...
And it was in Missouri. They rioted over that one so bad that they knocked over gas stations and stuff. And after that one is when, and he wasn't even the first. After that one was whenever George Floyd happened.
Michael Brown.
And he was a kid.
That was Ferguson.
Yeah, Ferguson, Missouri.
That was hands up, don't shoot. That was what they said, but that he said. Was a hands up, don't shoot. But we actually saw it. He did charge for him. Not to say he should have been shot for that, but
it's a kid.
It's still a bad shooting.
And not only that, but if you're so trigger happy, and I'm not trying to comment because I know that in some situations this world would be a lot worse without the power of the police force. But with power comes responsibility.
Well, do you think it would be better with or without?
Police?
Cops, yeah.
The only way that it would be better, if we didn't have cops, death would be a daily occurrence.
Right, yeah.
When you walk out the door, there's a chance that, you cut somebody off in traffic and boom!
Yeah, small disputes would be settled with
extreme violence.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Like extreme violence. But after about a month of that...
But that doesn't mean that, but we still have some bad cops. That doesn't mean that,
Yeah, and I mean, like, it doesn't matter where you live.
Oh,
There's bad cops all over.
What about the recent one, though? The woman that was killed recently in Minneapolis. What was her name? It was during the ICE riots. Renee Good, that's her name. She was the one that was, like, in her car, and the ICE agents are telling her, like, you gotta go, you gotta move. And she backs up, and, it looks like she's either trying to get out of the situation or, as the cops think that she's gearing up to, gun the engine at them. And right as it does, one of the cops takes a shot at her and kills her.
They were asking her to move. That's ridiculous.
Move, yeah.
Like,
but she was like impeding whatever, she was like protesting, impeding. That one I kind of struggled with because I was like, I don't know, I kind of, I hate to say, I kind of see where the cop is coming from, but it's like, I do kind of see if you gun the engine at somebody, there's going to be a thought that, and feel free to disagree, like, I want you to, if you want to.
If you want to.
I understand from that cop's perspective in that moment that, I might be dying right in this instant if the engine's turned at me and it's getting gunned in my direction. Yeah, still, it's still like a really tricky situation and everything. And I don't like how it has escalated, or, when it was escalating really bad into like such violence on both sides. I didn't like that regardless, but I don't know. It just seems like that was, and then there was that other guy I was trying to remember, was that other guy who died. And that one was even a little bit, that was even a little bit more maybe mishandled on the ICE agent's side. Was the guy had a pistol, and as he's falling, they're trying to get the pistol away from him, and I can't remember if he pulled the trigger or if one of the agents, or if it misfired, and they thought he was firing at them, and then they fire at him. And like overkill, they shot him like 10 times, But that was another one during that. But all that shit is just it's such what agitprop is. It's such like it's such propaganda, like meant to get us into that both sidesing type.
Yeah.
Thing,
well, the only thing that keeps us weak is division.
Yeah.
Like through unification, we are stronger than what you'd ever think.
Yeah,
that's the reason why they infiltrated Black Lives Matter, and their whole cause just went to like mute.
Right. It might have had a good purpose or in the beginning, but by the end, it had been infiltrated and taken over to the point where it was turned into something
that wasn't even supposed to be.
Yeah, and then the people end up buying like mansions and stuff like that.
Well, the fact that they had a leader, it was set up.
Yeah, right.
Because if you have a leader from the get-go, then like it's going to turn into something like the Nazi Party. Like I said, great power comes with great responsibility.
It's going to be corrupted and
yes,
yeah.
And like
that was during the whole Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter thing.
Yeah, and then it turned into a bunch of stupid shit.
Right, it's just.
It started out being the voice of the people, and then it just turned out to be a bunch of people yelling about nothing.
Right. Yeah, you want to know what protests they shut down real quick? It was the what were those called? It was like 2012. What were those called? It was the 99% protests, when it was like, we're the 99% against the 1%. That was when they were like, "Oh fuck no,
okay,
not."
I'll go ahead and tell you this. Do you know why Martin Luther King died?
Damn, no. Well, I guess James Earl Ray shot him, but
okay.
As far as
to let you know that was all made up. First of all, James Earl Ray couldn't shoot a paper bag at 10 yards. Okay, it wasn't him, but because that it's a little bit of a difficult shot. The shot that he supposedly performed.
Yeah.
But take that aside, okay?
Yeah.
Martin Luther King had just completed the Black People's March.
Right.
And he had just announced 2 days prior that he was going to do the Poor People's March. And do the same thing for the poor people that he did for the black people.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, they don't like that at all because that involves unification. That's number one. Like I said, division is what keeps us weak.
Oh, especially when it comes to class, the poor against the wealthy. Like
and going back to what you said about the 1% versus the 99.
It was Occupy Wall Street. That's what it was. That was that one that they were like, nah, we got to shut this shit down hard. And it was after that all the, all the stuff that really came, like the race politics stuff, like the everybody like that getting more into like the mainstream and the transgender stuff becoming more into the mainstream like political discussion. Like that was after 2012.
Mm-hmm.
That was after those protests. Like it was like those issues are meant to cause like chaos, like distraction, so that we can't actually discuss the elites fucking us over. You know what I mean? Essentially. It's like that's why they keep not wanting to actually get to the bottom of the Epstein stuff, unredacting the real lists and everything, because it's so interconnected. Like to understand that would be like having the skeleton key to the whole system.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, okay, so it's all fucked then.
Well, I mean, also, going back to what we said about the riots.
Yeah.
What's one thing that almost everybody on Earth can agree on? Not U.S., on Earth. You don't mess with a child.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Okay?
It
doesn't matter if you're an atheist, a Satanist, a Christian, a Buddhist, whatever.
Once you come for the children,
okay,
we'll have a problem.
That's the dividing line. Okay? Everything was okay about, this country attacking itself or this country attacking this until the children were affected. Once the children's affected, it's unacceptable. It's no more to adults arguing. It's something far beyond that,
right.
Even on a moral level.
Well, and it's too, once you start arguing that a child can do something or can consent to something, you're opening that door to a lot of things that are not okay. They're fucked up.
Well,
and it's like we said, like that permission structure. When you do something and you allow something, you're permissing it, and you're causing a slippery slope that's going to further cause more permission of farther and farther things that are out there. You know,
imagine, like, take George Floyd. All right, take everything about Black Lives Matter. Take everything about Ferguson, Missouri. Take everything about the 99% and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because this is not one that a person or a couple of people is in agreement of. This is of something that everybody is in agreement of. And if they release that list, anybody on that list would get King Louis'd. Okay? That's exactly what they got coming. And that's the reason why these people that are on the list won't release the list. Is because it's literally a death sentence.
Right.
That's the whole reason.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter about power. You can shut everybody's power off. If you told everybody what actually happened, okay? I heard something. Have you heard about the Lake Michigan part of it?
The Lake Michigan part, no.
Of the Epstein files?
No.
Okay. Supposedly, now this is, a girl came out and she said that her and a bunch of people, her uncle included, and of a bunch of elites, one of them supposedly being the king of a Middle East country.
Yeah.
One of them supposedly being a president of another country. And I think there's a couple other people too, like high-end elite people.
Yeah.
All right? And back in the 80s, okay, she was 13 years old, and they had spent, they were on this yacht, and this yacht allegedly was owned by Donald Trump.
Oh.
Now, that's allegedly. I don't know for sure, because this is a story from 1980-something. But anyways, so what happened was this girl was on there for like 2 years or something like that. It was an extremely long amount of time. Might have been a year. She was out there for like a year on this damn boat. Okay?
Right.
And so many, like, I think she said, or no, here's what it was. Her uncle had gotten her pregnant. Then her uncle had her, while she was pregnant, go on this boat for a couple of weeks. And all these elites, she said it was over 280 men, had SA'd her in some way. Okay?
Like on the boat.
On the boat. It got to the point where it caused her to have a miss horse and buggy.
Yeah.
And her uncle came.
I love your pseudonyms.
And took it and threw it over the side of the boat.
Oh, jeez.
Right in the middle of Lake Michigan. Now, I don't know how much truth there is to that. That's allegedly. Like,
I mean, yeah,
it's something I ran across.
Shit, yeah.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Shit like that.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Well,
is
some
what
of this
would
dark
unify
shit
all
that
this.
we used to be like, that, no way. It's like shit like that. If you would have told me this like 10 years ago, I would have been like, dude, you're so crazy. No, that's just real, you know?
Yeah.
So wow, you're fucking crazy.
Oh, that's what they all told me when I found out about it in 2020. Everybody's like, that's false. They don't eat babies and stuff like that. Like, they all told
and
me.
now we're like, hey, it might be a possibility.
Like, oh, it might be possible. In 2020, I saw stuff that's nowhere near what they show now. And, like, I got on Reddit and looked up something. And
I've seen some artwork and shit that, like...
No, it goes far beyond that.
Well, no, I know. I mean, I've seen some artwork that was connected to, like, during that whole, like, what was it called? You know, the whole Pizzagate thing, and, you know.
Yeah.
During that whole time, I saw, like, a whole bunch of stuff that really was like, holy shit. Like, there's no other way to interpret this. Like,
when you get into it, it's so in-depth that it involves, like, Pizzagate. It involves the Red Shoe Club. It involves, you know, the pretty much elites.
Have you ever looked up the term panda eyes?
Yes.
You don't see.
Yeah, where they supposedly the sigmoid nerve in your lower end gets
right, and your eyes start to look all like
that nerve goes all the way from your rectum all the way up to your eye, like around your eyes.
There's a lot of people who will say, like, you know, you'll see pictures of those kids that are in those pictures, and you can see like their eyes are like sunken.
Not only that, but every star that's out has had that. Yeah. Look that up. Look up panda eyes for the
right, and it's like a thing that they imitate and mimic in like fashion, and like they'll like they'll like literally.
Well, see, that's also another thing.
Yeah.
When this stuff goes so deep that it doesn't just affect the Red Shoe Club and supposedly Pizzagate and stuff like that, that's small term. Yeah. Because this affects the music industry, and I'm going to say a heavy percentage of the music industry. Like, I'm talking like 40% high numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Sure. And I'm talking about those same kind of numbers for the film industry.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm talking about the same kind of numbers for any kind of media.
Well, that's what it's all
the same about. Kind of numbers for any kind of fashion. Anybody in, like, there's people that's in that for art and stuff like that. And it's so widespread.
Well, what's the best way to get somebody? How do I get your undying trust? Like, the way I know you won't betray me. Oh, I get you to do something really horrible and compromising, and I get it on video. Yeah. Now I have that. Now I have your trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Forever.
Well, I have your silence. There's still no trust.
There's no trust.
But your silence
You're forced to trust.
And that's the whole reason why. That's the whole reason why we're defending certain people right now. Yeah. That's the whole reason why we're doing the things that we do. Like as a country, as a society. Like as a society. And it's not just us, that's all over. Like, that stuff is so evil that it spreads to countries that you thought that was good.
Right. It's just like even kind of knowing that could be a possibility. It just makes you feel like a dark chill. Like, holy shit. Just to even think that could be 1% true is like, holy shit, man.
This is going to make me sound like a prude. Okay?
Yeah.
But this world is evil. If you don't believe me, go back to when Obama got elected the second time. Do you realize he gave his acceptance speech on the altar of Satan?
No, I didn't know that. Well, Jesus, I'll look that up too. Obama.
Yeah, look that up. Because literally his acceptance speech of like, thank you for nominating me. Okay, where he gave that, where he found out he won. Okay, it really wasn't the acceptance speech, but he was thanking everybody for, hey, we got it and stuff like that. He was on the altar of Satan. The altar of Satan goes back to Greek. Okay, it's in Adolf Hitler took it, I think, from Greece or Turkey.
Yeah.
But Adolf Hitler took it, and now the altar of Satan is in some kind of like country. I don't know where it's at now.
No, we didn't yet. We will.
But
she was asking me to bring up that Taylor Swift amnesia effect thing. And
no, that's not.
No, I'm going to get to that too. The amnesia effect thing is there's a lot of people that have went to her concerts that have said during the Eras tour that have said they've experienced like memory loss of the concert, which is so weird. Like people, like you definitely like are in a heightened state during a concert. And I've been to a whole bunch of different concerts. You definitely, and fucked up at those concerts. Mm-hmm. Even hallucinogenically fucked up. But I still remember what was happening at those concerts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like a lot of people are having like an amnesia type effect where they're like completely like they're in such a heightened state that they're not remembering. A lot of people are making like connections with like MK Ultra, brainwashing, CIA type techniques that they, used back in the day, and how those kind of programmable type modes are known, and people are like using those types of things more so commonly today. And then the other thing was a lot of people say that Taylor Swift is the reincarnation of Xena Levy. Xena Levy? Is that her name? LaVey. Oh, is that
Anton LaVey's wife.
LaVey's. Okay. So
supposedly, I've heard that one.
And they do look really similar. I'll show a picture.
They look fucking identical.
They really do look
identical.
Similar. That is really weird. There's a lot of stuff weird with Taylor Swift.
You want to know something else is weird? Like, this is the weirdest thing I've seen. So
it's pretty, though.
I've heard a lot of people say that there's evil and, at these concerts, and
a
lot of these people are magic.
Or like Beyonce does a lot of weird shit in her concerts and stuff.
I actually saw this last night. Look up Beyonce and her old drummer. That was a woman. Okay?
Oh, that was that woman she had an issue with who came out and was like, she does
and there's a gag order out with that woman now. She can't say stuff.
Yeah. Why even silence her? She's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. The truth is...
She's just crazy. Who cares?
When they try to shut up the truth, that's how you know it was truth.
Right. It's just like when you make the effort to shut it up, it's like you're telling on yourself.
Yeah. Like if they would just let it ride, they'd be like, oh no, Beyonce's great. But whenever Beyonce's got a gag order out for that girl to shut up.
Did you see the way people look? Who was that one time that like when they were winning an award and they looked over at Beyonce as if to be like, is this okay?
Yeah.
It was the girl that won it after... the year after Taylor Swift and that whole Kanye West thing happened, to like where he went up there and said,
right,
like Beyonce had the best video of all time.
Beyonce is very odd. Oh, and then didn't want to. Who was it that didn't congratulate her or something? You know what I'm talking about, babe?
Wait, what?
Who didn't congratulate Beyonce and it pissed her off?
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Well, what were you about to say?
So, Beyonce, and there's other people. A girl just came out. I can't think of her name. She's an actress, but she just came.
What's she been in?
Tyler Perry movies. Like I don't know her name. But she just came. She just said that she, practices AFI. AFI.
What is that? What's AFI? I don't know what that is.
It's a religion that's based, like its roots go all the way back to Africa.
Oh, okay.
You know the whole rapper that does 6'7", 6'7"? He does AFI.
It was Lainey Wilson after she won Country Artist of the Year and Album of the Year.
Lainey Wilson after she won Country Artist of the... Oh, because that was that whole album that Beyonce had that was like a country album.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. What we?
No, you're good. But anyways, that AFI.
What is AFI?
It's pretty much like a
voodoo, like African, like voodoo,
like a voodoo. Like
yeah.
I'm not classifying it because it's different,
right?
But like for instance, if you're going to do something, like if you're going to get something that's good, you have to make a sacrifice,
right? Like sacrifice a chicken type stuff.
Yeah,
kind of similar to it.
Well, not even
wasn't that there was some singer Iggy Azalea? No, it wasn't Iggy Azalea. Azalea Banks or somebody that was like cleaning out like a chicken coop and
Oh, that was. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. They were cleaning out like a closet and it was just filled with like blood and shit and feathers and they were like, yeah, this is where I practice bruja or buja.
Okay, well that's a form of AFI.
Yeah,
AFI is an umbrella that's got a bunch of them in it.
Okay,
and that's one of them.
Yeah,
it's we'll have to look at the name later on, but it's like Bujiago or something like that.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Like I can't pronounce what it is. But anyways, there's other religions underneath the umbrella of AFI. It's kind of like technically on a technical level, you have the Catholic Church and then all the churches of Christ underneath it.
Similar
like
to how
like they're similar and stuff like that, but they're not exactly the same.
Right.
But the lead organization of all of it is the Catholic Church. Well, in saying it, until you go to something like Scientology or something that has
no. We're gonna get on to Scientology now,
but
we'll save that for a minute.
But no, like these people, they just come out and say it. They just flat out come out and say it. Look up the video where Katy Perry came out and her eye was looking like a robot. It literally would just open halfway and like flutter like to halfway and then shut like that, and then like later on, like all of a sudden, like she came back to and she opened her eye and she was starting to dance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's been multiple people like that.
That was so weird when they all went to space too recently. Remember that? They were all like, going to space.
Yeah, but I don't believe
that. What about what I told you about the other day about how that there was an issue of Culture magazine. It was like a magazine back in the 70s. And there was an article on Brooke Shields, and she was like 12.
Yeah.
And it was describing her as like a sultry, sexy kitten, still a virgin.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? It was like...
And there has to be somebody interviewing her asking this shit.
Right, and that's in the 70s, man. Like,
yeah.
How long has this, like... Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, how long has this gone on, this, like, kind of just, like, acceptance of this, like, subculture? You know what I mean? Like, to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
Especially among, like, elites and stuff. Like, it just makes you wonder. It's so obvious that she was, like, kind of groomed into that type of position. You know what I mean? And was she a model, Brooke Shields, or was she an actress?
I don't know if she started out as a model or an actress, because it was so young.
Yeah. Yeah, she's an actress too, but she's definitely modeled. And the next thing I was going to talk about was kind of just like when it comes to kids is that, you know, I was watching this thing about Scientology. It was like it was an interview with the niece of David Miscavige, who runs Scientology. I know you told me you don't really know like a whole bunch.
Not a bunch. I just know they don't like medicine.
Okay, so the thing with Scientologists is there was a science fiction writer named L. Ron Hubbard,
mm-hmm.
and in like the 40s, 50s, he wasn't even one of like the good ones. He was kind of just like one of the more shittier ones. But he was prolific, and he did write a lot. He's actually like might be like Guinness World Record holder of like having written the most books. Honestly, I don't even know how many books he's written. A shit ton of books, but they're all kind of like not that great. You know?
Yeah.
Well, he was a science fiction writer, and at one point he decided, basically, like he told people this, like, I want to start my own religion, and he did just that. And it's built around this idea that there's billion years old alien souls that live inside us, that come from another planet, that were running away from this evil alien emperor named Xenu or something, and the planet was a volcano or something that exploded. And it gets wild. This is something you don't learn until you get like high up into the organization, like until you're ready to learn it, right? Because it's all built around. It's basically kind of like a pyramid scheme type thing. Because it's all built around like you pay for courses that get you advanced levels, basically, and then they do this thing that's almost like a therapy session, but they do this thing where they attach you to an e-meter, and it's like it puts like a low electrical current through like these two little sticks, and it kind of like there's like these little like almost like a lie detector. There's like these little like things, and the person on the other side, your what is it called? It's called. There's like a name for it. Your auditor, is interpreting these messages, like, and they're talking to you.
That's horse shit.
So in a past life, you were troubled with something, or they work through you. What they're doing though, they're recording these sessions, right? They're trying to get blackmail on you. They're trying to get you to admit to things like, what's your worst, deepest, darkest secret? What's the worst thing you've ever thought of, or and they're collecting this information on you to use against you, so that if you're ever like, oh, I want to leave, oh, well, how are you going to leave when you're still working through and the fact that you're gay and you haven't told your wife, and
that's the way all therapists work.
It's emotional blackmail. That's how they trap like the bigger people. So we think, you know what I mean? We know they do it to the lower people, so they might give the higher people more leeway for, because they know it pulls other people in, basically. Now, this is a dying religion, and I don't care to say that. Fuck Scientology. It's a dying religion. It's going to be gone at some point.
Well, it's going to be put right in books.
They lie about the numbers of people they have. It's going down. Like, it's going to... And as technology and information and the internet and things become more widespread, cults like that are built pre-internet can't withstand that scrutiny. They can't withstand that people knowing how they actually operate type thing. You know what I mean? A lot of things they do too. This is the whole idea, really, because it's like, who the fuck cares? It's so wacky because it's almost like you're like, well, just fuck it, just let them do what they want. They want to believe that shit, right? But here's where it's sinister, though. They get you to sign these billion-year contracts. See, that's another thing. It's like, okay, sure, I'll sign a billion-year contract. There you go. See how that holds up in court, right? But it's really not about that. It's about the psychology of it. It's about you signing a billion-year contract when you're 7 years old. And for you as a 7-year-old, think that's real. You know what I mean? That's real to you. And you're being told it's real. They separate families because they believe everybody's an alien Satan. So that's not really your mom. That's not really your sister. That's just another alien Satan that you feel like you're connected to, but you're not really. You see how that, and then they separate husbands and wives, and they separate children from their parents. They send children off to like camps to work, but it's really
that sounds like a cult.
It is a cult,
like.
But I'm saying, but I mean, it's bad, man. I mean, at a certain point, when do you step in as a government too? Because it's like there's obvious abuse going on. There's obviously a system built to abuse weaker people. While, like, because even the guy's niece, you would think, oh, it's his niece. Like, she must have some power, right? No. You didn't have shit. She eventually got out. The leader's niece eventually got out and talks about it, and she's like, I never saw my parents. I saw my parents once a week for a couple hours. Like, my parents are essentially strangers to me because I never really saw them, And her parents got out before her. And then, so there's a part of her that kind of like resents her parents too, because you didn't take me with you, even though maybe they couldn't have,
Yeah.
So it just gets really kind of crazy how they destroy the family unit. Like that's the most powerful thing. If you really think about it, that's what they're attacking. They're attacking the family and trying to get you to think as what can I do in service of Scientology?
Yes.
Not and
well, once you break a family up or whatever, and they're convinced that they don't have anybody around,
you have nobody to turn to.
Like they're going to go to the first support system they got. Right. Doesn't matter what.
Because even people who kind of get out of cults and stuff, they end up going back because they have nowhere to go. You know what I mean? So it's not even like they necessarily, like some part of them knows they don't want to go back, but it's just like, fuck, what do I, well, so I got.
Well, it's like if you get out of a cult, you got to be reintroduced into society.
Yeah.
Because like you've spent so long with being indoctrinated and brainwashed and all this other stuff that you've got to kind of come back to earth. You just can't run out of a cult and like go get a job at McDonald's.
Yeah, and just be okay. Yeah, it's going to take a little while. There was another cult too. I was reading about and watching some videos about the Nexium cult. I know you don't know too much about that. That's
not too much.
It's the ones that there was like an actress from Smallville, Allison Mack was a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
They would brand women who are a part of this like exclusive tier of the women. That it was like a sisterhood, but really it was just like this guy Keith Raniere was. Just trying to get a harem of women that he could fuck, you know what I mean? And keeping this information separate from the men. Because there were also men that were part of this organization, you know what I mean? But keeping all this information compartmentalized and stuff, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, the guy, the woman who got branded, she didn't want to tell her husband, like she was wrong on some level, and she realized, she thought it was just some sisterhood thing, and she got kind of talked into it, And at one point she's looking in the mirror and she realizes, holy shit, K-R. She was told it was like some symbol, but she sees this dude's fucking initials are in the symbol, kind of hidden.
Yeah.
When you mirror it, you can see it in the mirrored reflection. She's like, holy fucking shit. Yeah, he just branded his name on me.
That's fucking nuts.
She eventually gets it removed and everything, but she kept it for a while so she could show people, like how crazy it got. And one of the actresses in it, but like I said, it was Allison Mack, the Smallville actress. She was a part of like the branding, or the branding ceremony happened at her house or something like that. She may have been a part of it. But she was definitely like, one of the top figures in this cult too. When this woman's husband found out that she got branded, and he was like, well, that I'm done with this fucking place, but I'm gonna go get my money because they owe me some fucking money. They owe me like $20,000.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna kill this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I can hold my tongue, but he's like, I just gotta I gotta get this money, because they're trying to get out of this cult. They're gonna be like, fuck, they gotta have some money, And they've been stringing him along, not wanting to pay him for so long. So he's like, I'm getting the money. That's gonna be my fuck you.
You keep going. Give me my money.
But so he goes back and he's like. And he's talking to her, and he's just like going off. He's just like, you branded my fucking wife. Like going off. She's like, no, it's just, no, she wanted it. He's like, what the fuck?
She picked out the design. She likes tattoos.
It's just like, yeah, that's nuts, man. It was weird. It was spelled weird too. It was like N-X-I-U-M. But it was called Nexium.
It set up a lot of. To me, it sounds like Charles Manson. Like, Charles Manson had his whole...
It is very Charles Manson.
Yeah, like the whole ranch and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, he was treated like God while everybody else went and did his bidding.
Well, the whole thing is, I think, what we come to find out was his whole deal was he had a hard time maintaining erections. And that was like the whole... That was the whole thing. It was like why he wanted this harem wives and everything was like... Because... he was like psychologically fucked up because he couldn't get hard. Like, dude, fucking take a pill.
Get you a blue chew, man. Come on.
But it's like, yeah. I mean, I think this guy's in prison now. I'm pretty sure. Like,
I'm pretty sure.
Down.
Somebody else probably branded him by now.
Yeah, right. He's getting branded right now. We brought up something. No, we brought up Anton LaVey, but then that made me think of Aleister Crowley and You know, who that guy was the Satanist and everything, and you know, he used to worship some demon that he said was called Lamb. And when he would like draw pictures of it, and this is before the whole UFO craze, it looks like a fucking like gray alien.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really odd. Makes you think of like the whole, just a lot of that. And then I was thinking about the whole Book of Enoch thing, and the whole the Nephilim and the Nephilim. Yeah, I keep saying that wrong.
It's all right. I pronounce stuff weird.
I think it's really interesting, the whole Dead Sea Scrolls aspect of them finding a bunch of like stuff that was like left out of the Bible, and like why was it left out of the Bible, and like you know, it seems like the Book of Enoch kind of fits in, but then there's like we talked about like the Jewish scholars left it out because there was like it went against the, what did you say? It went against the idea of what?
It went against the not the theology. It pretty much made Christianity look bad.
Yeah.
Because you've got a book ever since the Dark Ages that was allowed to be owned by, well, not the Dark Ages, I'm sorry. Martin Luther is the one that did it, made it public. So, what was that? 1700s? Maybe 1600s?
Something like that.
Martin Luther? I'm not sure. But anyways, Martin Luther was the one who made it to where you didn't have to be a priest to be able to read the Bible. But whenever he adapted it, he left
translated it into German.
Yeah, but whenever he got it and he took it from the Catholic Church, he left out the Apocrypha. Okay, which is like, there's a couple of books in it. Don't quote me on it.
It's like extra little stuff, extra little information, kind of.
Yeah. Let me see what's in the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is...
You know, one of the things I thought was really crazy, too, about the whole Epstein thing I heard recently was that allegedly, you know, Melania came out and was, like, making that statement or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Allegedly, Epstein said this. It's in the Epstein files. He told Steve Bannon, and Steve Bannon told Michael Wolff, who wrote that first book after Trump's first president, you know, the one that was like the big expose and all the shit, you know, making him look bad and everything. Allegedly, Epstein told Steve Bannon that he fucked Melania a year before Trump and was like bragging about it, and that he introduced Melania to Trump, and that's why she was like trying to get out in front of it. And because there's some lady in Rio de Janeiro, Jesus, there we got it, who got deported there by her husband. It was kind of fucked up. He got her deported, and they were having a custody battle, and she was basically coming out saying, "Nah, Melania, you know that I know what really happened back then.
You know I know.
Don't make me start.
You know I know."
It was basically like, don't make me pull the receipts. Basically, It was just really odd. But anyways, what's the Apocrypha?
Oh, the Apocrypha is Esdras 2, Tobit, Judith, additions to Esther, Wisdom of Solomon. Let's see.
So it's like extra.
Oh yeah, extra books.
Yeah,
like Baruch, Letter of Jeremiah, Prayer of Azariah.
Well,
Zaria.
Now there's other stuff that was presumably left out of the Bible too, like the years when Jesus was a kid, like up until like teen. You know, like there's like a whole
there's a gap
of life that isn't like accounted for, and the theories that's possibly be because it doesn't jive with whatever. Like
that's 100% what it is.
Yeah, it just makes it so interesting.
Okay, if you've got somebody, okay. Yeah. Right now, we'll just take a king, not a Lord and Savior, but a king.
Yeah.
All right. What was the last king of England's name? George. King George, wasn't he?
I don't know if he's the last one, but he was definitely a big one.
But anyways, they're going to have every part of his life wrote about. There's going to be written stuff about every part of his life.
Yeah.
Now, for somebody that's even more important, they're not going to have was it a 10-year span, a 15-year span,
Yeah.
where they didn't write about him. Like,
weird.
And like I've heard a lot of different things about him and stuff like that, like what he was doing and stuff like that, and like the only thing that I heard that was pretty much worth a damn about it not being wrote about was the fact that he wasn't around the people of Israel then, or not the people of Israel, the people of Judea then, and he had went to what was Asia back then, which would pretty much be the other side of Iran, and like that, like he had trekked over there and he had spent years there.
Oh, that he had learned like Eastern teachings.
Yeah, a little. Well, not really. I don't know about how much he learned,
right?
Because there's a fine line about blasphemy, and I'm not trying to do that. But all I will say is that's the only thing that sounds plausible to the reason why they didn't write about him is because he wasn't around them.
Yeah.
Because if he was around them, being a more important figure than a king, he would have been wrote about.
Yeah.
They would have had people that broke down on daily journals telling you what he ate.
It's possible he did things that he made mistakes, and because isn't there like a rumor that there's like a story about how he accidentally killed somebody and brought him back to life as a kid or something?
I have no idea.
I don't even know where. I don't know where I know that from, but it's like it's theoretically it could be because they didn't like it the way it kind of made Jesus look, or made him look like he was like too human.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which really isn't a bad thing necessarily. Like just to see him as more human would help you humanize with him. You know what I mean? But maybe to try to preserve his godliness, they take away some of those things that would seem more like fallible human qualities.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, it's the same reason why they took the Book of Enoch out. It made a smudge on what an angel was.
Right. Yeah, I didn't think about it like that.
Like it's like a smudge on the reality that you're trying to present. Yeah. Like I've read the Book of Enoch, and I think it should be in the Bible.
Yeah.
But they don't want it in the Bible or whatever because it's a smudge on there and stuff like that. They want to have a perfect religion, so to say. And,
right.
God is perfect or Jesus is perfect. But, like, that's about it, man. And, like, even going back, I got trust issues. But going back to people that put the whole book together and stuff like that, like, I believe that the written word is the written word and there is strength upon it. But the people who assembled the Bible and took the text and made it the book, all right, the writings are strong, they're just, and they're wise. But the people who put it together decided what went in and what stayed out.
And they were people.
Yes.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And, the whole story's not there.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that the story's not real. The story's 100% real. It's there.
It's just saying it's
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, picture, how you get an extended version and then you get a regular version?
Yeah.
Okay. When people seek the knowledge of the Bible, they should be reading the extended version.
Yeah.
But what they're getting isn't that at all.
I think it's interesting because I've never been like super religious, but as I've gotten older and as I've kind of like understood the way the world works and like other and the way other cultures and stuff work, and it's just like and looking at history and stuff, it's like it's hard not to accept that while Christianity might have its faults, its flaws. And I think as a younger person, I probably dwelled on that too much.
Mm-hmm.
And not seeing how beneficial to society Christianity has been. And I mean, just look at Western civilization, the most prosperous, free, egalitarian, like, best societies are those societies. Are the ones that have Christian morality, ethical foundations.
Yes.
And it's like at a certain point it's like, well, how can you can't just say, oh well, like the expression is, well, the fruit is good, so just, do away with the tree. Like, if the fruit is the knowledge of, like, you shouldn't hurt someone else, you should be kind, you shouldn't steal, the tree is God. Well, we don't need the tree. Yeah. It's like, but you have to have the tree because everything comes from that.
Yep.
Like, that whole belief system. Like, it took me a while to kind of understand that and come to terms with it, almost kind of like through a more intellectual way of kind of understanding God in a way. Does that make sense? Like, because it's like I have more issues accepting it in a emotional way, but if I can accept it in a more logical way, oh, you've got me. Like, if I can think of it that way, I think once that clicked, I was like, oh shit, it kind of just makes sense now. You know what I mean? I had been looking at it through the lens of its faults and not what it's been beneficial towards. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, everything has faults. Everything is going.
Like I said, with great power comes great responsibility.
Right. So you shouldn't judge things by its faults. You should judge it by its successes, by its the fruit, the good things that it produces. But sorry to go on a little rant.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I just thought it just make I think it's pertinent today. I think more now than ever, especially with how people think about religion and society and culture and God and everything. You know what I mean? I think it is interesting because I think it is helpful for people who may want to go down that route. I'm not the first person to. Don't think I'm special. Like, I actually kind of looked up this type of thinking before, and it was the same kind of thinking that if I could remember his name, it's the guy that wrote
Lord of the Rings.
Not Lord of the Rings, but maybe
Narnia.
Yeah, maybe that. C.S. Lewis?
C.S. Lewis.
Yes, it was C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis started out trying to be, trying to debunk the religion and wound up believing in it.
Right. That's kind of a similar kind of trajectory, kind of. Like, I kind of feel the same way. Like, oh shit, like, I kind of accidentally believe it now. By trying to think about everything so much and in a way, like, it's like I've just kind of, I see it now. You know what I mean?
Well, see, my biggest thing when it comes to religion and stuff like this, and religion and science conflicts and stuff like that, even though deep down, I'm not trying to call him by name, but I feel like that it's the easy way out, thinking that there was an explosion and everything came to be off that. Like, even if it was based over millions of years.
Well, it's still a religion to think that, because what happened?
You're believing in something.
What happened before the Big Bang?
And see, like, honestly, I would have thought that was Scientology.
Right. What happened before the Big Bang? Right. Nothing. I don't know. Like, that's your answer, right? Because we don't know. So you're still believing. You're still accepting. Oh, well, that's the beginning, I guess. Like, it's still like you're taking it on faith. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we just don't know. I look at it the same way.
Well, the big thing that got me is whenever it comes to evolution. Evolution's a real thing, and I won't deny that. Because things evolve. Things get smarter. Look at us. Like, look at cavemen, and look at where we're at now, and there has been a constant inclination. All right? Look at,
there's been
race cars in the 30s and race cars now.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, there's an evolution of things regardless. I don't care if you're talking about fishing tackle. I don't care what you talk about. There's an evolution of stuff that has been out here because people learn from their mistakes.
But there's also, like, missing links that we don't know. Like there's jumps where we go from, like, we don't really know where we went from, like, basically hairy ape to more.
Well, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
We know that it happened, or we think that it happened. We have an understanding that, well, we kept adapting, but we don't, like, have like a skeleton to show. Oh, here's the variation.
Well, here's where I'm coming from. Let's take a phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't. I mean, I told you about the Göbekli Tepe thing. We don't even know when we went from hunter-gatherer to agriculture. We're still like, okay, I guess that's wrong. I guess we get pushed it back further. But take the phone.
But take the phone, for instance. Okay. We used to all have flip phones way, way long time ago.
Yeah.
Phones keep getting better and better, smarter and stuff like that. You don't see somebody still walking around with a new release of a flip phone. If they got a flip phone, it's probably something that's older than any pair of shoes you own.
Yeah. Well, it's the people who are like, I'm not getting,
Yeah, and it's just stubborn people.
Yeah.
But it's not, they're not making,
at that point,
they're not, I'll put it to you, they're not advertising for flip phones anymore.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. And they won't ever advertise for flip phones again. And it's because the evolution of the phone has brought it to where we no longer will look back that way.
We don't see flip phones.
They've changed, and there's no reason to try to perfect a flip phone where instead of flipping open this way, it goes sideways.
Yeah.
Why are we worried about trying to mess with the old technology and improving old technology whenever we went beyond that? Okay? Right. It's the same thing with evolution. All right? Why are there still monkeys here, the flip phone? Why are there still monkeys here, and we have evolved past them? Because when something evolves, it never stays the same and evolves further.
I will say, from what I understand, it's because we are the cousin of that, basically. And that's why it's still around, as far as they say. We're not that exactly, but we're very, very similar. A cousin that went in a different path. And that's why we still have apes and everything around. But there's still a lot of things, like I said, we don't understand. Like that missing link of when we went from that to more this.
Here's another one. If they did do that and stuff like that, and it was a cousin, chances are they live in the same damn area.
Right.
Now this is pre this is in a Pangea era. We'll just say it like that. It's a Pangea era.
Okay.
Everything's all together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's monkeys running around. All right. If something is in a good climate, why is it gonna want to trek across ice?
Well, that's a good question.
Like it's in a good climate where it's fed.
There could have been like at some type of like during the Younger Dryas thing, like I was telling you about. Like that could be a thing that happens like every 10,000 years or something. Where there's like these like climactic asteroids that come down or something, you know what I mean? This could be something that moves people, that would make people be like, oh shit, we gotta get the fuck out, you know what I mean? And there's even one period of time where they think that humanity through like cataclysm and everything got reduced down to like 10,000 people, and that we rebuilt from that.
Oh, I believe. Because look at the numbers of how many died during the Black Plague.
Yeah.
If you look at the numbers of how many passed, we lost 1/3 of the world's population during that. And I don't care what the world's population is. The fact that right now we're 8 billion.
You know what's also interesting too? I heard this the other day. I guess it makes sense, but for some reason it sounds weird. But you have twice as many female ancestors as you do male ancestors.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So in a way, it's like that's how women win is genetically. that's how they beat us in a way, is because there's so many men that have gone off to war and died and not had children, and died in illness and whatever back then, especially back in the day, that it was just like the female genetics got passed on more than the males. It's just an interesting.
Well, I mean, also, this is a really weird thing to add to it, but there has been a feminization of society since, I'm going to say the 60s, the 50s, and there was a lot of ignorance with that. Yeah. But if you look, and I'm not trying to make fun of anybody in particular, but let's say I went to go take a bunch of steroids and I was all testosteroned up and stuff like that. I'm going to say dumb stuff. Okay? My rationality is just went out the window.
Oh, because of the testosterone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So the feminization allows for more rationalization. But.
Possibly.
And to prove that there's been feminization, name me one big.
But there's also, I'll say this, there's with more feminization, we also have there's worse mental health for people.
Yeah, well, I mean, that goes back to feminization. Because back in the 50s, they were ignorant. And they'd be like, rah, 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 and call you a name and then move on. Like, it was a bunch of name calling. You ain't like me or whatever. You're in this classification. And like,
but
I'm not saying
but now, don't you think it's like people may be over medicated now?
Well, I mean, yeah, because I mean,
but it's always hard to find that middle ground, right? It's just like it's either it's on one extreme or the other extreme.
Yes,
it's hard to find that middle ground. One thing I was going to talk about, we were talking about populations, so that I was watching this one Chinese lady. She was talking. This Chinese lady. She was talking. It was really interesting. She was talking about the population of China and how everybody knows there's like a 1.2 billion people or whatever, right? But I didn't really know this. I didn't put this together really. But she was talking. It was a Chinese lady too, so she had done obviously a lot of research about it because she's a lady and because she's Chinese. And she said, okay, so they went from in the 50s or 60s.
I think I've seen it. I think I know exactly what they're talking about. They're lying about the population.
To 1.2 billion, right?
Yep, and that means that everybody would have had to have
like at least 5.5 kids, or at least 5 to 6 kids. They also, for at least 25 to 30 years, instituted a one-child policy. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows this. Mm-hmm. Everybody's aware of this, where you could only have one child. There's a lot of, a lot of Chinese people had to like secretly hide a second child. If they had a second child, it was a big deal. This went on forever, and they had, eventually had to get rid of the practice. It took a while, and with famines and everything, how do you get to 5 kids per female Chinese person? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So like I say, the population, it can't be 1.2 billion. It just can't be. Like the math.
Well, from what that girl said, is you could pretty much subtract 900 million off of that.
Right. I mean,
like I don't know the numbers, but that's based on.
So we might be looking at a population of like 120 million.
Yeah.
Not 1.2 billion.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. Not the greatest at math, but like. Which would make more sense, for sure. But then, so they only went from 100 million to 120. I mean, fuck, maybe. Yeah. That would make more sense. It doesn't make sense. Like 1.2 billion people? Like, that's insane.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like the math doesn't make sense about that.
It doesn't.
Like, when you put it like that, and then you brought up the one-child policy, I was like, oh, shit. So you saw the same video.
Well, I mean, they're paying people to go to Japan right now.
Yeah, well, they're paying people to go to America to learn and stuff like that.
Well, no, I'm not talking about to learn. I'm talking about to populate.
Oh, shit.
Because right now, the population in Japan,
they've
already done the future math, so to say. They did the math on it.
Yeah.
And they're going to have bad population problems within the next 40 years.
It's going to be really bad. And in Korea, too.
Yeah.
It's going to be really bad.
And it's where, and it's because nobody can afford anything.
Wow, yeah. And
at the end of the day, that's the population control, is we make them so poor that they wouldn't be able to feed a child. They can't feed themselves. So why are we going to...
I'll say this, though. I agree with you to a certain extent. It's like, it is like, it's way, like, stuff gets more expensive. It gets more difficult to have children. Why do the poor have the most children, though? Right, because there's nothing else to do but fuck, basically. I guess.
No, that's it. Like, that's literally it. The shittier your condition is, like the shittier your environment, the more you want to breed. So to say,
because that's all you have, right?
No, I mean, for instance,
well, so it's bad when even those birth rates are going down, which they are, and they're still, because the birth rate collapse is worldwide, man. That's all over. It's. In Korea, it's especially bad. I remember hearing this statistic for every 100 grandparents or something, there will be 4. Oh God, I wish I could remember. It was something crazy like that. But for every 100 grandparents now, there's only going to be 4 of those grandparents or something in just the next 20, 30 years or something. I'll find the statistic competitive, but it's something insane like that. Some dramatic like decrease of people. And then who takes care of all those old people? And when there's not as many young people, they're not going to want to go take care of it. There's not even as many of them to go take care of like this huge population of old people, which we're about to experience too with the baby boomer generation moving into like. There's about to be so many people that are entering like a retirement type age, and we don't have as many people to replace them with.
No, that's 100% true.
Yeah, well, and you and even if you pull in immigrants, even if you let all the immigrants come in, it doesn't matter because even their populations, while they're higher on average than ours, it's still at below like replacement rates. Like and the only reason they have higher rates is because they come like from like South America. They come from more traditional type family structures. I think you should be. If you have a family and 2 kids or something, or like forever, there should be a system built on it, but you should be like tax exempt. Like that should be like a thing. If you got,
well, I mean, that goes back to being able to file as married.
Yeah.
Like being a couple, that's the whole reason why they allowed you to file married.
Yeah.
Because way back in the day, that was better than file singly.
Yeah.
Okay, but now, like the way it's all done and set up now, and with all the changes, it's now messed up to where you need to file singly, put everything in your mother's name, and that's how you can afford all this stuff. Because the most expensive thing about anything is food. Food is 1/3 of the money that you need to have. You can take care, like the money that you spend on food is the money that you will spend to live, minus cars.
But people spend wastefully on food too. They spend like way too much. You know what I mean? Or on fast food or stuff. Like we all do to a certain degree. Like and the food in America sucks too. Like
it does. It's poison. It's poison.
It really is. It's not good. That's one thing I wish that hopefully we'll get better here in the next.
Well, they've linked this up. Like just talking about the food.
Yeah.
All these colored dyes that's out.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They finally got rid of the red dye, didn't they?
Yeah, but they've linked that stuff. Like there's studies to where that is that can bring on like autism even if you eat it while you're pregnant. Okay, there's studies done to where if you have an overload of like maltodextrose, and stuff like that. Oh, sorry. No. Anyways, while you're pregnant, then that could make it to where the baby like already has problems because maltodextrose attacks your pancreas. Your pancreas produces insulin. Almost everybody in America is diabetic. Like right now, if they went up $1 on insulin compared to gasoline, they'd make way more money.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because if you don't have insulin, you're diabetic, you die. They're like, it's not, I've got to walk to work. No, you die.
It's like lifesaver.
And that's my biggest worry with it is with all the crap they're feeding us. Once they get it to where we're 100% reliant on them, they jack it up to whatever they want, and we all have to crash and burn because we can't afford what they're wanting to send us.
Yeah. And
like a diabetic can't have insulin sometimes. Like, go a day, miss a day, and stuff like that. No. Like it has to be managed on a daily basis, on like every 3 hours basis. It needs to be checked.
Yeah.
And like there's been so much stuff that has advanced whenever it comes to diabetes and stuff that it'd blow your mind. Absolutely blow your mind.
No, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, they would rather keep you on a system that's built like it is.
And like, what I'm saying is, if they would take the garbage out of the food, these people wouldn't have
to be on.
How many years? Look at what they ate in the Depression. Yeah. They ate like bacon. That's pork bellies.
And they were healthier than us.
And they were healthier than us.
Yeah.
Why is that? Well, they wasn't eating MSG every meal. They wasn't eating maltodextrose. They wasn't eating high fructose corn syrup. They wasn't eating the yellow dyes and stuff like that. They wasn't eating aspartame. They wasn't taking in caramel color. All this stuff is literally poisons. Most of the stuff I said, or some of the stuff I said, is carcinogens. Yeah. But the other stuff I said attacks pancreas. And some of the stuff I said just causes flat out cancer.
Yeah. Well, who who bought the food companies, right?
Probably
the cigarette. No, I'm saying back in the day, the cigarette companies.
And that's the whole world's a corporation.
Yeah,
it's all about like that's why they don't want us to unify, because if we unify and we're like we want good food like France, or we want good food like, I don't know, Spain or something like that.
But yeah,
where there's restrictions to where they can't do that. These people sell the same food to other countries and have to change their recipe to where it's better for the people.
Right, where it's healthier.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not going to sell this garbage they eat over there.
This is something that kills me.
Yeah.
Do you know what lactic acid is?
I don't know if I really do. Like,
okay, lactic acid is what your body produces. Have you ever worked out?
When you work out.
When you work out? Okay. And your muscles are killing you.
Yeah.
Okay. Lactic acid goes in there to repair it.
It's repairing your muscles.
It's repairing your muscles. Whenever, it takes usually a day or two to naturally flush it out.
Yeah.
And that muscle is going to be really tight until it flushes out.
Right.
But in hot Cheetos, they put lactic acid.
Oof.
Why are we ingesting that?
Yeah, that seems weird.
And now it makes a lot of sense why people walk around with holes in their stomach, and they gotta do this, that, and the other. They got intestinal problems and stuff. It is insane at the poisons that they feed us. And all it is it goes back to the diagram of this. When you get out of college, okay, you're still making money, because after you get out of college, you're either going to buy a house or get married.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can afford a house nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
why I said out of college.
Yeah. You know what the average age of a homeowner is now?
Probably 56.
It's 40.
Wow.
Still, wow.
That's
of a first time homeowner.
Oh, that's real crazy.
First time homeowner.
That's real crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. But what was I saying?
Oh, about the lactic acid.
Oh, well, no.
You're talking about France.
Oh, yeah. If you go to other countries.
Yeah.
If we was to unify and just say that we don't want this stupid food, all right? But that's the diagram about the money. That's where it was. So what happens is once you get out of college, you buy a home. Or supposedly.
Yeah, I interrupted.
Okay? And then after that, you'll get married.
Yeah.
All right? And then after that, you'll, vacation and have kids. And then after that, they bring in divorce. Do you know why?
Why?
Because after you have kids, other than making it to where they have college, you don't spend any more money in society.
You're not a consumer.
You're no longer throwing money out for big ticket items, because somebody who's got their kids close to college has got the cars that'll probably last them for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's why they want a bigger turnover rate on these people, is because of society. It's all about, can you spend this? Can you spend this? And at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to solve it is going back to what you were saying about the 99 and the 1% and the 99 march or riot or whatever it was that happened at Wall Street. That's the only thing that's going to solve it, because they're not going to say, oh man, you know what? We've been robbing you. We've been poisoning you, and we feel really bad about this. So you know what? We are all the major companies, whether it be medicine, whether it be food, all the companies are going to donate $1 billion to federal funding for Social Security, for federal funding for people on food stamps and stuff like that.
Yeah. People
that need help. Okay? And in the same swing, they're going to give everybody at least a $5 an hour raise.
Yeah.
For their whole company that they work for. Now that's going to cost them billions, but they just saved America.
Right.
All right? Now they're running it into the dirt. That way they can be the richest. The only thing that makes somebody rich is the fact that somebody's so much poorer than them. And the only thing that makes somebody poor is the fact that there's somebody so much richer than them.
Yeah.
Look at the way we live right now. In America, we're poor. Okay?
But like I said the other day, we are richer than we've ever been still, though. We might be poorer compared to the rich people because they're richer than they've ever been. But we're also, we've got smartphones. We've technologically And
technologically,
society-wise, we're still at a more advanced place. Now, we still got some problems.
But what I'm saying is, like, on a fortune level, that's false because our dollars are crap.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's built on a house of cards. I think, honestly, it's like we're living in this bubble of, like, where really the value of everything is inflated by, like, 2 to 3 times.
Uh-huh.
And we're really should value everything at about like a third or a fourth of what it is, because that's really what it is. We're like hyper inflating the value of everything.
Do you know why there is so much inflation? And it's not for the reason that anybody said.
Well, a lot of, they keep printing money, but they have to keep doing that because they keep, spending so much money. But yeah, what were you going to say?
Okay. When I went to Jamaica back in 1999, $1 of American money was $50 of their money.
Yeah.
Okay? By the time 2009 rolled around, $1 of American money was only 25 of theirs.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, it gets even worse whenever you realize this.
I think it's been fun since we moved off the gold standard.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay? Because Richard Nixon signed that 50-year agreement with Saudi Arabia that any oil bought out of Saudi Arabia had to be bought with American dollars.
And it's based, and like the money is based off of oil.
Oil and oil sales.
Like so volatile.
That expired.
Yeah.
And it was either 2002 or 2003.
And now
and ever since then, it's just...
Yeah.
If you go back, okay, when we was kids, prices have doubled compared to what they were when we was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Easy. The 90s was like the best time. In
the 90s, it was even lower. I was talking about 2000, early 2000s. If you go to 2004 versus 2024, the price is double. But if you go from 2004 to 84, the prices didn't double.
Yeah. It didn't grow that. And they've actually got us so fucked up that we think, oh yeah, that's just what happens. Things get more expensive over time. Like, no, that's actually not what happens. Things get cheaper over time. But they've got us so brainwashed that that's what we think is like true.
Where do you want to buy 90% of your stuff? From off the TV or something like that. You see an advertisement for it, or you learn about it, or somebody does and they tell you about it.
Right.
But that's where 90% of the stuff, and like now the whole MK Ultra stuff makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that's how they're advertising to you. That's how they made it a corporation in America. We do more advertising, way more than any other country.
Yeah.
Any other country, you go and watch a video, a movie, or something like that. There might be an advertisement in the beginning and an advertisement at the end.
Like medications and so. Yeah, we're
like
Wild West.
Exactly. We're advertising out the ass.
You were talking about like the feminization of like society and stuff.
Okay, to prove that.
Oh no, I agree with you. Like
now, I'm not sure about the only one that I'm not sure about. If other than Samuel L. Jackson, I can't say for him because I don't know that much about his early career prior to Tarantino.
Yeah.
Okay. But every black man that has, like, it doesn't matter, comedian, not comedian, whatever. Every black man
is this the dress thing?
Has had to wear a dress at some point in some movie in Hollywood.
They've had to, right.
Think about that. Wesley Snipes did Tu Wong Fu, all right? Martin Lawrence did Big Mama's House. Eddie Murphy did The Clumps.
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry's whole career is based off being a woman.
Yeah.
What do you think that's about, though?
The demasculinization of the black man. Yeah. But now it's spread towards demasculization of society. There's no more school. Like, if a kid gets in a fight anymore, like, why do you have that much hate in you? But when my dad was alive, they were beating each other with sticks in the yard.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, like...
Right, there is like a certain level of, like, they don't want boys to be boys at school.
Exactly.
Right.
But see, the bad thing is like now, I hear a lot of women say, I don't know why my man won't stand up for me and stuff like that. And it's because they're a dying breed. They're dying fast.
Yeah. Like, you can't beat that out of boys and then expect them as men to do that.
Exactly.
To step in that.
However you raise a boy, they will be equal as a man. Yeah. And see, that's one reason why I say you don't mess with a child, because all you do is raise a monster.
Yeah, you're just gonna raise a sociopath.
Like any serial killer had a terrible childhood.
Yeah.
Charles Manson's mom was a whore, and he had to listen to her from the room next to her have sex with random people.
She was a prostitute. Yeah.
And like that was
Well, and he was institutional. I heard this crazy story about Manson.
Hey, I'll tell you something crazy about it. That was a setup, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there was like the CIA was involved and everything, and they were like they were watching the ranch. The whole there was a thing where the Los Angeles cops were watching the ranch because they knew shit was going down there, and they didn't want to get in trouble for letting that basically happen right under their noses. So they had to cover up the whole involvement that they were actually they had to basically make it look like they weren't watching them. And then there's the whole thing with Manson possibly being a CIA asset and stuff. He kept getting bailed out of jail, and his probation officer let him move to Mexico. It's just weird shit. His parole officer, sorry, not his probation officer, let him move to California. Then after that, and then the place he's going to, this clinic that's set up by this, oh god, it's a really weird scientist guy, I can't remember his name, but basically let him have free reign of the clinic, come in, but let his women get STD shots. And the guy, I wish I could remember his name, I'll look it up. He was kind of running his own experiment on Manson. He was this is the perfect subject. This guy who's got this harem of women, basically. God, I wish I could remember his name. Because he was into some weird shit too. Later on, they think that he was involved in some of the mind controls type stuff. I read this really interesting book about it. I mean, it connects to fucking JFK and everything. I mean, it's just the whole thing with Manson was that was the death of the hippie '60s free love movement with that thing. That was that was the end of it. That was everybody after that was oh, I don't want my kid to be a hippie. No, for sure. That one would be crazy, Yeah, sorry, I went on a little rant with that. But
well, no, you're 100% right, but I'm going to tell you something about it that you didn't know.
What that? Oh, I didn't even get to tell you the story. But let me say this real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
In prison, Danny Trejo told this story about Manson. He said, I was in
Los Alamos.
Yeah. He's old as fuck. So he was in jail with Manson one time. This is before everything happened. But Manson would do this thing where he would hypnotize people. And he would, and he would make them, and he was yeah. And Manson, his thick Danny Trejo accent, he was Manson would hypnotize me, and he would make you feel intoxicated. He would you're on heroin, and you'd be fucked up. And he was I was throwing up. I was I was on heroin, even though he just hypnotized me into it.
Wow,
that's great. Who taught him how to do that?
Exactly.
That level of hypnotism. Who taught him how to do it? Who taught this career criminal who he didn't just pick that up? You know what I mean? It just makes you wonder. Anyways, what's your Manson story?
Okay, so you know who died with Sharon Tate, don't you?
Who died with Sharon? It was a coffee heiress.
Yep.
Her hairdresser. Ex, or was it stylist or something? It was an ex-boyfriend, though.
Yeah.
And then
somebody that
some guy who was Ukrainian or Russian or something.
And he was the boyfriend of the Folger's heir.
Right. And then there was the guy that was in the driveway. Who was a younger guy.
Yeah.
Who was just coming to check on the property or something. I can't remember.
That Folger's heiress.
Yeah.
Okay. She was next in line to inherit the company.
Wow. Okay. No, I didn't know that.
And that's one reason why I feel like she was ousted.
Yeah.
And when it comes to corporate greed and stuff like that, especially with, whenever it comes to billion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
Okay. What it costs to have a hit on somebody, all right, is way less than anything close to $1 billion.
Yeah,
it doesn't even approach $1 million.
Yeah,
to call a hit. To call a hit in a billionaire's world, to call a hit is super cheap.
Well, yeah,
because you're looking at anywhere between $50,000 and $250,000, depending on how good the person is and what you want done.
Right. Yeah.
And
Which is nothing to them. I mean,
it's nothing. That's chunk change.
Yeah.
And they take care of a problem to where they can increase their wealth even more.
Yeah.
So
well, that's the thing about somebody who's wealthy. They are going to do everything in their power, including colluding with other wealthy people to keep their wealth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, see, and
to keep it from other people getting to their level of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about feminism, but I think truly a lot of what has gone bad in society is a lot. Like, I'm not saying women. I'm saying the ideas of feminism, of like this idea that you have to be equal to a man when men and women are different, or they're like separate but equal, basically. You know what I mean? Like, they're equal in different ways. They have different things that they provide
100%
to a society. I think, especially, I don't even know if you know this, but did you know that when they voted back, like the suffragettes, like during that whole time when they were getting the right to vote? Well, first of all, men only got the right to vote. Like, it was property owners that had the right to vote. It wasn't just like men. It was property owners. It was specifically white property owners. The wealthy white property owners.
Well, they brought it back with the Electoral College.
Right, anyways. But they were the ones that were voting. And honestly, that's the system that made sense when they were the ones that had stake in the system, that they would be the ones that had the right to vote. It makes sense. But eventually, they gave all men the right to vote. Mm-hmm. And, well, all white men, and then eventually all men. But they gave all the men the right to vote. And then it was only 10 years later that the women got the right to vote, right? Mm-hmm. And at the time, the anti-suffragettes, you won't even hear their arguments. What are the anti-suffragette arguments? What is the anti-argument, right? You don't know it, because it's not something that's something they've suppressed as hard as they possibly can. Because the arguments at the time were, if you give women the right to vote, they lose their moral authority that they have. They had the moral authority to get alcohol made illegal in America. That's how much moral authority they had. They didn't need the right to vote to do that. They had the moral authority to say, we're not your constituent. We're not voting for you. You have to do what we say because we're telling you what's right. Mm-hmm. That they had a moral position of authority. And the anti-suffragette said that if you give that up by taking the right to vote, you're allowing the ability for you to be politically manipulated. Which, you look at today, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Because women are inclined to empathy more so than men on average. Mm-hmm. That can be manipulated. That inclination towards empathy. You know what I mean? Yep. I'm not saying I think women should have the right to vote, just so we're clear. I think we've gone too far down the road. You know what I'm saying? But it's just interesting to listen to those anti-suffragette arguments now compared to today. You know what I mean? Like looking at it through that prism of like, they were kind of right. Like, they did lose their moral authority. Yeah. They had like a position of moral authority over men, and that was what was equal to the right to vote in a way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just an interesting way to look at it. And I'm not, like I said, I think everybody should have the right to vote or whatever. Honestly, I don't really
crap. I think everybody should have the right to do whatever they want.
I don't even think democracy's, like the best system. It's just the best system we have, It's like, what if 90% of the people vote that we shouldn't have a democracy? How do you fix that one? Yep. Exactly. It's not the perfect system. It's just it's an okay system that sort of works, and we're not a pure democracy, anyways. That it's not how our system works. If we have a representative democracy, a representative republic, or whatever, is how it's kind of supposed to work. But it's not like consensus doesn't make right. You know what I mean? Just because the consensus of people say something, that's not what's right. Yeah. That they could, like, the consensus of people thought that slavery was right. Yeah. That doesn't make it right. It just means that that's what society thought was right at that time. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just gets into some really interesting concepts. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they even took a vote at the time during the whole suffragette thing, and I can't remember exactly what it is. I'll put it on the screen, but they took a vote of should women be given the right to vote on whether or not they have the right to vote. Like, should we be even voting on this?
That's messed up.
And like 98 or like 97% of the women said, no, we shouldn't even be talking about it. Isn't that crazy, though?
Mm-hmm.
They were just like, no, this is stupid. This isn't our place. Like, we have a place in the home. That's where we, like, our home. Our place of influence, our sphere of influence is in the home, in the family unit.
Mm-hmm.
But that obviously that's shifted. I mean, the whole idea of family and everything has shifted, even in 100 years.
Yeah,
you know, and a lot of those suffragette women were into some freaky deaky shit, man, like occultism and witchcraft and
but see,
plural wives and affairs and just a lot of weird shit, man. Like they were into some, like they were already like you have this idea that maybe they're like these pious people, but they weren't. Like they weren't these pious people. They were they were kind of the freak, and the ones that supported them at the time were the prostitutes, the debaucherous people of society. But that kind of gets forgotten and whitewashed in history, and the anti-suffragettes arguments get pushed away.
Well, the only way that they can direct their future is by editing their past.
Exactly, man. It's so interesting, man. It's just they
take away what we don't want to know, and
Did you know that though about those? Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Keeping in mind the whole feminism thing and right to vote thing and all that stuff we're talking about. Do you think, like, what should a woman do after high school? Should she? That's such a tricky question.
No. Like, it's not.
Should she go to college or should she go start a family?
Well, it all comes to this.
Because it's like if you go to college, you're using the best fertility years on school, but you might get a good job that might pay well, right?
Then you can adopt somebody else's kids.
Yeah, but it's just like we're already in a birth rate collapse too. So it's like we have to be doing things that are
at the end of the day, and this goes for man and this goes for woman. Okay, this goes for both. Because after getting the age that I am, I look back, and that's what wisdom is like through the steps walked, not how you walk the steps.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, whatever they choose for themselves, whether they want to go to college, whether they want to start a family, whether they just want to go get a job and have fun, and I don't care. I don't care if they want to go do drugs, whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
There's a cause and an effect, okay? And if you do A,
then
B is coming.
You're going to pay a price.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you do A, B's coming afterwards.
Yeah.
Or do you want to pay your price? Do you want to sacrifice your fertility and go to college? That way you can make money, which in some cases that don't work.
Yeah.
Okay, because people get out of college and they're like, I can't find a damn job.
Right.
And like,
especially if you get a major in something like, gender studies or something. It's probably
exactly.
Find a job.
Exactly. And then you're going to have to move halfway across the country, which means then again you're sacrificing something else just that way you can have money. And like, are you going to be happier like living poor around your family, or moving to the other side of the country and be rich as a miter, and your kids might like have problems or whatever where you're having the kids later in life and stuff like that.
That's
and it's not just based on the woman. The man's the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's not to take any responsibility away from men. I think men are not living up to in society what they need to be living up to as well.
This affects men more. But
for sure.
Like I'm gonna tell you this real fast. This blew my mind. But there was a researcher I heard about. Okay, and it was in physics or astrophysics. I can't remember if it was physics or astrophysics. Anyways, they had a magnet that could read thoughts. Okay, because what you think, and I always heard this and I thought it was crap. okay, because I have a good chi and a chakra and all this stuff. I thought it was garbage. But they literally can read your mind without having any kind of helmet or anything like that.
That's wild.
Because what they can do is they read the waves that your brain puts out. How you think, okay, and this is the reason why I said it affects a man more. How you think is what you get.
Right, yeah.
Right?
But I mean,
so if you are a man and you start out and you're like, oh, I just want to go to the titty bar and stuff like that. Well, that's all well and good. But at some point, you're going to lose a lot of stuff in your life. And if you start out surrounding yourself with nothing but a bunch of filth, like, and I'm not, like, if somebody goes to a titty bar, works in a titty bar, no offense, but like, compared to other places, it could be a den of sin. Yeah. There's things that doesn't seem like a den of sin that is. But anyways.
But if you were like a recovering addict, you shouldn't go work at a titty bar. Yeah. That's probably not the best place for you.
And at the end of the day, the question is this. Do you want to base your life off happiness, or do you want to base your life off wealth?
Right. No, yeah.
Because you will never have both. The elites want to toy with people because they're too tired of spending money. They got too much to freaking spend.
I think I can break it down even simpler. I think it's down to the people who believe that there is such a thing as good and evil, or such a thing as morality. There's such a thing as moral truth. There's such a thing as you doing something that is against that moral truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's people who don't care.
Yeah,
I think it's really that simple. I think there's we're on two sides of each other. There's the people that care about that, and the people that don't.
And then, that's what it comes down to. But at the end of the day,
it's even beyond religion. It's like there's people who believe that there's some things that are wrong. You should not do that. You know what I mean? And then there's people who don't.
Yeah.
I think obviously social media has fucked us a lot too with because it used to it's like the hottest girl in the town would get with the hottest guy in the town.
Mm-hmm.
But now the hottest girl in the town has her pick of everyone in America or worldwide, possibly.
Yeah,
maybe a sultan in Saudi Arabia.
But here's the backhand of that,
which creates it creates a really crazy thing for women where they have this huge pick of the litter, where they can pick anyone, but they end up not picking a suitable partner. They pick someone who's fun. You know what I mean?
Or somebody who can. Or who's we're going to make a cute couple.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
for their lifestyle.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. There's a cause and effect.
It's called hypergamy. By the way, there's a word for it.
I did not know that.
Hypergamy.
Learned something today. But if you'll sit there and these women, what I was saying is there's a backhand to them. Because although they're eating Starbucks, they're TikTok famous, they got nice jugs, they got a nice butt, they can get anybody they want and stuff like that. Here's the thing. Whenever all that goes sour, there's only so much plastic surgery you can take.
Right. Yeah.
There's certain people out there that's had plastic surgery so much that their veins inside their face, their skin's gotten thin and the veins inside look like banjo strings.
When they get it all tight.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, you can't. Right. When they're just oh, well, I'm pretty now. I'm going to be pretty forever. No, you're not.
No, you're not. and
the harder you cling to that, the more apparent it becomes.
Yeah. And whenever you can't get a guy and stuff like that, this is sad, but right now there's 3 girls for every boy because there's 8 billion people on Earth.
Yeah.
All right. And if it's not 3 girls for every boy, it's really damn close.
Yeah.
Because back whenever they saying there was 2 girls for every boy, there was only, I think, 6 billion people.
Yeah.
Something like that. Back in the 50s.
Women are 85% of consumer spending too. Did you
know that? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They're spending 85% of the shit.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. I mean,
crap. I'm gonna have to go find me a sugar mama. I'm tired of all this stuff.
I do want to talk about one thing real quick. I read this thing about the reduced white matter and how kids in school, they've taken like recess out of school. Like by the time you get to middle school, recess is gone, right? And it sucks because really, like kids need like 2 hours of recess time, like when they're kids, when they're young, because it helps the elasticity of something called white matter in our brain that helps memories and stuff form, makes them stickier. So it's like you learn something, you go outside and play, whatever you learn will stick better because of that physical activity for whatever reason.
I have never heard of that, but that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just, it is really interesting to think about how, like I said, we were talking about in school, it's boys aren't meant to sit in a chair still for 8 hours straight. You know what I mean? That's very difficult. Yeah. Even if you don't have ADD, it's hard. It's hard for my son, and it's like at a certain point, it's like you don't want school to beat the boy out of him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you still want them to not be overtly feminized to a point where they feel like they can't be themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I think that has caused a lot of issues in society,
Yes.
This over feminization.
Yeah. No, I'll agree.
Yeah.
It's going to come around. Like
I think it's getting better. They're
okay.
getting better now. But there are like this generation too. I do have hope for them. Like I see some of the stuff they say and stuff online. I'm like, oh yeah, they're coming back, baby.
Well, look up a movie called
They just don't believe in anything. They're just like, it's all bullshit.
Look up a movie called Hell Goes to Frogtown.
Yeah.
It's about this guy who was the last fertile guy on Earth. But in saying that, he was the last fertile guy on Earth, but he was desired everywhere he went. If you are the last man and you act like a man and stuff like that, a woman's naturally drawn to you. Or you get feminized and stuff like that. That's why these people are walking around and they're like, no, I just want to be friends because you ain't acting manly enough.
Yeah. Before my battery dies on my computer too. Let's wrap it up. That was a good episode.
It was. Really?
Yeah.
That was a real good one. Monster.
I might split that one up. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe I'll just have 2 hours. Yeah. But we'll see you next week. That was a good one.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week on the 6th episode.
Nice. Maybe 7th.
Maybe
if we bust it.
Maybe if we bust it out. Later.